And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from the Lakers Fast Break Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. On the Pop Culture Cosmos, I'm going to record tomorrow with my good friend, Mr. Josh Peterson. We've got a lot in store for you because it's our annual Black Friday episode. We're going to record tomorrow on the Pop Culture Cosmos. It'll be our choices and selections for what you need to look at for your good stuff out there on deals aplenty on Black Friday. We go ahead and cover all the great deals on Black Friday, and also as well we cover the latest box office news with the big numbers and big weekend for Wicked for Good. We also talk about Stranger Things. That's going to start its final season later this week and more. So go ahead and check out what we're doing this week on the Pop Culture Cosmos, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, as well, Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Hopefully, you've been having a good and productive fantasy football season. But if not, catch our Inside Sports Fantasy Football coverage with me and Chris Lardieri. We're talking a lot of good things, including what happened this weekend and the Thanksgiving weekend. We'll talk about that and we'll show up here later this week. You get all these shows brought to you. If you're a member, I load them up right here on the Lakers Fast Break channel. So become a member today for just $2.99 a month. A great deal, whether it's Black Friday or not, right there for you on the Lakers Fast Break channel as well. Plus, also want to give a big shout out to John Costa, who is not going to be here tonight. He has got daddy duty tonight, so he said he'll be here on Tuesday. I still want to go ahead and ask him what his deal with Jake LaRavia is. So he is not here tonight, but please support John Costa at Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner, wherever you get your social media and YouTube channel as well. I want to give also a big shout out to the Lakerholics crew who were here on Saturday. Hopefully you enjoyed and watched the show this past weekend. I hope you enjoyed it. They are the guys from Lakerholics.com. Support them there. Joe Sorrell should be here hopefully in a few minutes to talk about today's game. He is, of course, the Joe Sorrell Experiment. We were on there, and he was on here, of course, here, but he was also on his channel, the Joe Sorrell Experiment, there for you as well. So go ahead and support him on the Joe Sorrell Experiment. He had a good crowd. I was there for about an hour or so with him on the other night. So go ahead and check out whenever he's there as well. And also, of course, playback, not for just John Costa's Lakers Corner, not for just not just as far as playback.tv/ the Joe Sorrell Experiment there, but also playback.tv/ Lakers Fast Break. And big shout out once again to Tufso and also as well No Joker. They held down the fort while I was mobile. So thank you so much again for providing a great time for our audience right there for you on playback as well. I wanted to go ahead and give one last big shout out. And in the time of gift giving and Black Friday is around the corner, there is no better place to go than our good friend Drip Show. You see the quality right here. Let me go ahead and show you this quality up close and personal. Look at that. All respects to Kobe and Gigi right there on this awesome pillow. I am forever blessed to have this right here next to me in the studio. Also, as well, you see right behind me, Kobe right there with the canvas art in the style of a Sega Game Gear because he knows Drip Show was just awesome. He knew my love for pop culture. And then, of course, if I can just move my head, I've got Luka right there as well. Another okay game for Luka right there. So go ahead, and if you want to get that kind of quality on canvas art, pillows, t-shirts, hats, and more, first thing you got to do, follow at Drip Show Shop on Instagram or Twitter. Message him, tell him what you're looking for. He'll let you know if he can do it. And there you go. The best holiday gifts are made for you by Drip Show. Right there for you, indeed. Tufso said, yeah, Drip. Oh, Tough. There you go. Got a good customer right there. Tufso is an awesome guy. He bought one of my custom shirts, the Lakers Fast Break shirts. He'll do a great job with what you're doing out there, Drip Show, as well. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Hey, appreciate the donation of $5. Truly appreciate it. The Lakers go into today coming off a nice 4 days rest. Wanted to go ahead and say that. If you want to come in and chat, hit me up on LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com. All you have to do is just email me. I don't give out the link over the chat. You have to email me LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com. So no joker, if you go ahead and want to come on and chat, you're welcome to anytime. But as far as chatting over the airwaves or chatting over the chat, I don't know what's going on with that. As far as it's been really weird, no joker, as far as what YouTube is doing with these monikers. But the Lakers came in today, really looking pretty good, coming up third place in the Western Conference. 4 days off. Thought, hey, should be an easy victory heading into Salt Lake City against the Utah Jazz. Came off just getting waxed in the second half by Oklahoma City. Just came off of getting waxed on the road against the Lakers. So what would happen here with the Lakers heading in Salt Lake City? Well, the Lakers looked like they had 4 days off because they just, for some reason, just looked like they were out of it, maybe a little bit too long. I know sun tanning, relaxing, what have you, here in late November, but it just looked like the Lakers seemed a little bit sluggish throughout, especially their transition defense and offensive rebounds that they were giving up a plenty, especially in the first half. Second half started with the knowledge that DeAndre Ayton would be out for the rest of the game with a right knee contusion, maybe caused by giving up so many offensive rebounds to Yusuf Nurkic. But the Lakers still finally needed just to focus after being down parts of the second half, finally pushed ahead in the fourth quarter after getting some good points from Luka. Luka went on a run by himself. Overall, it doesn't look great. 3 of 12 from 3, 10 of 24 shooting, but 33 points for him, 11 rebounds and 8 assists, 6 turnovers, unfortunately, as well. Austin Reaves, 22, 1 of 8 from behind the arc, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists for him. Rui Hachimura chipped in with 13. LeBron had 17, 6 and 8. Okay, for him. But also 0 of 4 from behind the arc. The Lakers were 26% shooting, but still managed to find a way to, even though they had a double-digit lead with about 3 minutes left, tried very hard to give it away. JSJ game indeed, but they got the luck. They had just enough luck as Keonte George's last second shot fell just short. They got away with the victory, 108 to 106. They now move into a tie for second place in the Western Conference alongside Denver. They are 12-4. Once again, the Lakers win 108 to 106. Want to hear what you guys are doing in the chat. Truly appreciate it. Stefan Piscano says Marcus Smart has been elite role player for us this season. Yes and no, Stefan. Yes, as far as hustling and energy on the defensive end, because he was plus 18 today. No, on the fact that where they have him out on the offensive set near the top of the key is absolutely a terrible place to put him because he is a terrible shooter from distance this year. Came into the game, I think I called it by Basketball Reference at 23% from 3. That is not going to get it done. And today he was 2 of 6, which actually improves his shooting percentage. So yes, it's a yes and no, Stefan. So I would agree with you as far as energy and on the defensive end, but offensively, it's not been good as far as what we're seeing because he is going to chuck. When he is in the game, he is going to chuck up some shots. It's just what comes with the territory. You could talk to a lot of Boston Celtics fans, and that's what we've seen so far. But again, provides us a lot of energy. And again, a plus 18, you can't argue with that. Also got some decent minutes. Blake was very happy with Maxi Kleber for him, even though at one time it was a plus 9 in the fourth quarter. But to tell you that late run by Utah brought it down to a plus 1. Jake LaRavia, 5 points from him, very minimal as far as effect for him. Jackson Hayes also 5 as well. Gabe Vincent gave us a 3, but the bench didn't give us a whole lot as far as offensive production. A lot of it, again, relied on Luka, Austin, and LeBron, especially down the stretch. Luka getting enough, just getting enough on a day where the Lakers overall shot 44% overall and 26% from three. 27 free throws, 81% made at 22 out of 27. Again, nothing to write home about, but when the Lakers don't play well like this and they still get away with a victory, I think we need to take it as a positive going forward. But yes, it wasn't a pretty game indeed. And speaking of not so pretty, here's a good man indeed. It is, of course, my good friend, the guy behind Simblades with Y.com, and also as well the Joe Soro Experiment on YouTube, and of course also as well the Joe Soro Experiment on Playback. It is Joe Soro. Joe, great to have you here. Wasn't pretty. Didn't look good at times. Lakers did pull out to a double-digit lead about halfway through the fourth quarter and gave it almost all the way back. Not exactly the game you want to write home about, but a win is a win.
Yeah, I don't think this team needs 5 days off ever. This is a young team. LeBron, sure, maybe. But even then, your timing becomes a problem. And this is basketball in the NBA, and timing is everything, and stamina can dwindle pretty quickly. So winning by not playing well is always a good sign that you're a team that's got something. Being a Dodger fan and seeing a World Series where your team batted 203 the entire series and still won showed you greatness at that point. But I was saying this on Lakers Ball. There's a game summary on there where we can go back and forth while the game is going on, and I was telling everybody on there, I was like, this is the most entertaining, horrible game I've seen this year. And that's really what it ended up being in the end. And good defense on that play, on that last play. I was actually more excited about how they played there than actually paying attention to the missed shot. I was like, this is great. This is great. Kleber put his hand up without fouling. Like, Marcus Smart was doing what he was doing. And, Marcus Smart does the intangibles, the stuff that doesn't get shown up on the box score. And those type of plays tend to always make me feel very, very happy and very, very excited about the team when they do those things. It really goes a long way. I also was happy that this happened for one reason. Of course, it's easy to say that now because they won. But Luka Doncic needs to use this as a prep. Luka, you can't go 1 of 2 at the free throw line in moments like this. You cannot do that. That needs to be fixed.
I really thought Markkanen was going to come back and hit the 3 and kill us, Joe. I had said on Playback.
Well, he would have if they didn't play good defense.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you play good defense.
Yep.
So it's he had the turnaround shot. He could have made that shot, but he didn't because there was good defense on that. I think it was LeBron on that, right?
LeBron I think you're right on that. Yeah.
But the way the inbound pass, all that, everybody's going crazy, on Utah. Oh my God, why did he fall? Maybe he fell because he fell. And Kleber, I don't know what Will Hardy was doing. You're looking at the replay, and Kleber played perfect defense on that by distracting. Was it Keonte George? Keonte George?
Keonte George.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah.
I think it was George.
So it was. If he had made that shot, yes, it would have sucked. We'd be upset. But they played as good as you could have in that moment. You can't deny that. So playing on the road, which is, by the way, their 8th road win, 8 out of 10. Playing well on the road and not playing well in an area where they never hardly ever win, by the way, no matter how good they are. It's very encouraging all the way out.
One thing I want to ask you before I bring it over to Legend, we were talking about it on Playback because Marcus Smart is who he is. Again, provides you so much energy and help on the defensive end. It's such a plus there. And as Stefan pointed out, such a plus minus there. But I also mentioned overall the season, he's shooting 23% from three. I think that's what his new percentage is, comes out to 23 or 24%. Where JJ has him in the offense, you see where he's at the top of the key, and took 6 shots, all from the same spot near the top of the key. Is there anything that you would tell JJ about maybe putting a LeBron or a Rui in that spot where instead of where Marcus Smart is? Because it's clear Marcus in the corner is probably a better bet to make these shots that he's missing in abundance now.
The problem is if they do that too often, the defense will adjust. If Marcus Smart can't hit shots from there, which he is a streaky shooter in general, I wouldn't even say he's streaky. He's just not that good from that distance. That's why Boston.
He's 32 overall for his career, just to let you know.
Yeah, he's just not. That's not his. Really, that's timely shots maybe every now and then, which he actually did make some good shots today after a mistake he made, and then he came back in at a 3. He is what he is, but I'm not looking at Marcus Smart with this particular roster as a guy that needs to be shooting as many threes actually that he's shooting. But that's the NBA. The NBA is going to force you to shoot those shots, especially if the clock is running down and the offense needs a boost for whatever reason. I don't know what he will be at the end of the year on the offensive side. I just don't know. Not from the shooting side. I don't think he's ever going to shoot well, no matter when it is. I do know that his hustle and his ability to play defense will be there should he stay healthy. That's for sure. And that's really what we want him to be. And this is another game, also, just to put this in there as well, where the Lakers lost their starter again. They didn't have DeAndre Ayton in the second half. And say whatever you want about DeAndre Ayton. He's been excellent so far this year. And losing him, it was an adjustment. And had he played in the second half, I feel very comfortable in saying that we may have not seen a close game. I think at some point he would have been a problem for the guys over there because they were pretty much sitting under the basket doing whatever they wanted.
I don't know, again, guys, what's going on. This has taken place for almost about a week with the usernames and what's going on with that with the YouTube. Yeah, it happened on Joe's channel, so I know it's not just related to this channel, but Joe and I were on the other night, so I don't know why it's doing what it's doing right now. So I do apologize for the inconvenience, but talk to Google. That's the only thing I can tell you guys right now.
Yeah, why is that? That happened a few months back, and then
I don't know why. But this one, it was just like one night or a couple nights, and then that's it. This one's lasted for almost a week, so I honestly don't know what's going on with it. Maybe it's a coding issue or something like that on their part. But yeah, it's really weird. But again, I don't know. It's out of my hands and it's out of Joe's hands on his channel as well. But we're still glad you're here. Still glad you're leaving comments. I know that some of you guys don't want your actual profile names in there. I'm sorry that the actual real names are there. So I do apologize for that. But here today to go ahead and discuss what went on with today's game. And then also I maybe ask him a question about his struggling Warriors, to say the least. Good man indeed. Please support him on his channel. I Got Next Sports Media. He's got controller in hand. There you go. All right. I like that. Gaming. All right. It is, of course, my good friend, Legend. Great to have you here. Lakers, it wasn't pretty tonight, but these are the games if you want to stay at or near the top of the Western Conference. Okay, near the top of the Western Conference, because the Lakers are playing 750 ball and they're still 4 games behind Oklahoma City. That's almost obscene what they're doing right now. They got a 94.4 winning percentage right now, does Oklahoma City. But be that as it may, if you want to be anywhere near the ballpark, you have to win games like this when you look terrible on offensive and defensive end. You couldn't get a defensive rebound. Nurkic was killing you on one end. Then on the other end, you're not executing. You're missing layups. Luka and Austin Reaves combined from three. Stop me if you've heard this before already this season. They're 4 of 20 from three. Luka and Austin have been struggling all season, but I know that these guys ask me and want me to go ahead and start saying the Lakers are real title contenders. With Luka and Austin struggling like this, and little things like I saw Nurkic, battling Aiton and winning the battle in that first half on the offensive rebound side, it gives me pause. Legend. It gives me pause when people ask me or want me to commit on the Lakers being at that upper shelf level with OKC.
I would say got the win. So that's the most important part. You got the win. That's the most important thing out of all of it. Title contender part, I think they are knocking on the door at it, but you got to do something about that 3-point shooting. That has to be corrected, because the thing a lot of people got to understand is I'm about at the point myself. I don't care about regular season. I'm going to win another game. I care about what happened in the playoffs, and I know for a fact you got to knock them shots down in the playoffs. That ain't going to cut it in the playoffs, because you can get by in regular season and all that, but when it comes down to everything slowing down, you might be knocked down them shots. That's where your weaknesses begin to show up more. I'm looking at Golden State struggling like crazy. When weaknesses are showing up now, it will show up even worse when you're in the playoff. So you got to be knocked down them shots. Right now, Oklahoma in their own atmosphere, they probably gonna win. They probably got the number 1 seed. They're gonna probably be locked up. That's probably over. Everybody else competing for second and on. I feel like I think the Lakers gonna have to make some trades to get some better 3-point shooting in. You're gonna need that. You're gonna need to get something going on that end. I think Reaves and Luka will eventually pick it up. Not sure when it's gonna happen, but I think they're gonna pick it up. I know Luka is gonna probably pick it up. Austin, I think he will. I worry more about Austin in the playoff. I think he'd be fine in regular season. It's the playoff. I'm like, I don't know if I trust you or not. I don't see in the last couple of years how that played out. So they got to pick it up. I can understand, Gerald, why you're a little iffy on the title contender part. I think they knocking on the door at it, at being a real title contender. I think they're in the mix. Lakers are definitely in the mix, because this is a damn good start, based especially with what happened at the start of the season. This is a really good start. But I did tell anybody I wouldn't worry about Oklahoma. That's a whole nother atmosphere right now. They above everybody right now. They in their own class right now.
I can't really argue with that right now because they're killing everybody. Their schedule has been a little soft, but they're destroying everyone that's in front of them, and that's all you can ask right now. But the Lakers, Joe, that you just got to stay within arm's reach. If you can stay within arm's reach, if an SGA gets hurt or something like that, you can take advantage. Who knows? No Joker, thank you again for subscribing and being a member for 9 months. Truly appreciate it. Again, Joe, you win games like these, it's really a mark in your cap, because again, you did not play well at all at certain aspects of the game all game long. Like you said, it was an enjoyable bad game, as you called it, for the Lakers tonight. But these are the games that you got to win when you're not playing your best and you still get it done. And right now the Lakers find themselves tied for second in the Western Conference. This is a spot that if they can keep it, might help them go a long way.
Well, it sounds like you guys are treading lightly. Why don't you enjoy the ride here a little bit? Enjoy the journey. Stop worrying about if and what and when. I mean, every other day somebody's getting injured on this team and they still win. So we can't go 4 months from now well, if somebody's healthy. They're not healthy.
We haven't had the dreaded strains yet, Joe. The dreaded strains yet haven't hit the Lakers.
They have all contusioned themselves to oblivion at this point. Just say it's a bruise, please. Contusion. It's like my junior high gym teacher. One time, this is the first time I went to class. I still remember this like it was yesterday. It was years ago, right? 91, I think. He goes, "We're going to go outside and do some side straddle hops." And I'm like, side straddle hops? What the hell is a side straddle hop? It's a jumping jack. Jumping jack. I'm like, what the side straddle hops? Who the hell calls it side straddle hops? So that's how I feel when I hear the word contusion. Just say it's a bruise. So the Lakers right now are building something. I don't really know what it is. That's why I'm not really kind of focused on the Marcus Smart deficiencies or the DeAndre Ayton deficiencies or why Austin Reaves can't hit an open three. I don't know. I don't know where to go yet with all that because they're winning. They're 12-4, 16 games in, and they haven't been healthy at all. So we actually should be saying when they get healthy, what are they going to do? And when LeBron gets into real game shape, LeBron is not in game shape. This is second game back. So what we need to look at is what is this team going to be? And it's not like you can say, well, are they winning, when they go on the road? They're winning on the road. They're winning the close games. They haven't lost a close game all year. So this is the time when you enjoy the game. I said it just a few moments ago. This was the most lousy, entertaining game of the year because there was a lot of really cool stuff that happened in this game, but everyone was playing like it was February. Like they're dead in the middle of nowhere, right? Which is where Utah is, right? Salt Lake City is like in the middle of nowhere. Sometimes if you, sorry.
I've done that drive, Joe.
Yeah, exactly. It's a 12-hour drive from where I'm at. So, but I am encouraged when I see smart basketball in important times, and they really, really made me proud in that last shot and how they play defense. I really, really was excited, and I know it's sad to say that I got excited over an inbound defensive stop, but they played that.
Heel,
I like smart. I love smart basketball. Look at Kleber on that last play. Look how he was blocking and how he avoided contact. Folks, it's fundamentals matter in sports, especially when everything's evened out. NBA, NFL, the highest level of sports evens out because those are the best players on the planet. How do you jump those even areas? By fundamentally sometimes beating your opponent. And Kleber did that because he's not going to beat Keonte George in athleticism, but he got him on his height, obviously, and the fundamentals of not fouling. Because my first thought when I saw Kleber do this and he left his feet, I said, I don't foul him. Like that was I was so concerned about that, I didn't even look at the shot. Because we've had such bad luck with inbound defense or the last second shot defense from the opponent. And, of course, inbounding the ball on offense.
Inbounding late in the games, period.
I have not seen any of that. I think J.J. Redick, thank God, it looks like he figured some stuff out during the summer, during training camp to fix those things, and he did. And maybe he did get a little help with infusion of talent. But I'm not seeing those fundamental flubs with this team. I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing very good and smart basketball, especially in crucial moments. And that's what happens. The difference between winning all these games that are close, let's say they've won all these close games. Imagine the difference when you lose a couple of those, though. Now your record is 10-6 versus 12-4. That's a big difference because now they're sitting tied in second place while they have the tiebreaker, right? And we had said during the offseason, in order for Luka Doncic to be a legitimate MVP, he's probably going to have to be one of the two spots up there. And he didn't have a good game tonight, and he still dropped his average. That's how good he is.
A little under, but yeah, 33 still, right close to it. So, absolutely. Again, he's getting it done when it needs to matter most. You're right. Would have been great if he got those clutch free throws, all of them. Didn't quite do that.
Well, he missed two.
Yeah,
he only missed two free throws during for the game. But this was the first time I have seen him because he hasn't been a Laker that long. It's the first time I've seen him in
This
this
one late.
position to have to hit 2 so that they can guarantee that even if they do hit a 3, it won't be a loss. Luka has to make these shots. He cannot miss these shots. This is when you talk about the all-time greats, and I know there's a lot of all-time greats like Shaq and Duncan that weren't good free throw shooters, but this is that's apples and oranges. Those guys are bigs. They don't usually get the ball in those moments. This is about the guys that can control the ball. This is the guards and the forwards that can handle the ball. You got to be able to make those shots when it matters, because if Kleber doesn't fundamentally put his hands up the correct way, Keonte was hitting shots out of his butthole all the last 2 times they played him. So you gotta take advantage of those freebies, man. You can't, especially if you're Luka Doncic.
Once again, it's the Lakers winning 108-106 on the road. It is Joe Soro, a legend.
Can we get rid of fake talk, please? Whoever to search out there right now. I've had about enough of that guy.
Search.
Saying that I'm celebrating Aaron Gordon's injury. That's a no for me, dog.
Well, they were saying that you were celebrating his injury. Were you not, or what was or was just fake talk quoting for you, misquoting?
Yeah, of course he's fake talking for me. When did you hear me? I'm gonna go celebrate Aaron Gordon's injury. When do I do that kind of stuff?
I don't know if you had said it on playback or your playback.
What the hell are you talking about? Why would I ever do that?
I'll keep it.
What dick fuck said that? Besides this idiot, even your dumbass believed it. So imagine what other people who don't know me are going to believe it.
Because you've been known to
Why would I celebrate somebody's injury? That is a stupid comment. Absolutely asinine.
You've done it before.
Especially Aaron Gordon.
I don't know Aaron Gordon per se, but you've done it before.
For who?
Dude, you have done it before.
You don't even know. You have your head up your ass too. Are you talking for that guy? Fuck him. Get this fucker off. This dumbass even believed it. Now imagine people who don't know me gonna believe it, sitting around saying I'm hoping for guys like Aaron Gordon to get hurt. Why would I hate on Aaron Gordon for what?
Well, speaking of Aaron Gordon, legend, I did want to go ahead and ask you your thoughts on this. When it comes to the Lakers now in possession of tied with second place, what does that do for a team when they know that the other team that they're tied in the standings with has 2 starters out? Because remember, you've also got Christian Braun, who's also out for the Nuggets right now at this point. Your thoughts on this, my friend? Because again, it can be a motivator. This could be. I mean, I don't know if Ayton's going to be out for a little while with his right knee bruise. JSJ, you can't block me because I'll block you.
Don't worry, I'll block his ass in real life.
Yeah.
He can't delete me on when I'm in his face.
I'm so frightened.
You bet. You should be.
I'm trembling. There you go. Steady as a rock. So scared. Anyways, legend, let me get back to you. Your thoughts when like for instance, when Atlanta sees the teams up above, not Detroit per se, but when they see maybe New York or Cleveland might have some injuries laid into it, what does that do to motivate their team that says, hey, maybe we can take advantage? It's just life in the NBA, but
right.
You see the schedule ahead and maybe you can see some more wins out of it and get into a solidified place in your conference.
I would look at that as that's a crack in the armor. That's an opportunity to seize the moment. Nobody wants to celebrate anybody getting hurt. I want to beat people at their very best, but sports things happen. So when them type of situations happen, you just try to take advantage of it. Use that opportunity to jump over them for the time being at least, and take it while they're down. Denver probably may lose a couple of games after losing Aaron Gordon for a good little minute, and then with Christian Braun already out, so they're gonna put more on Joker than to step up. So luckily they get to play Memphis next, so that's an easy game, quote unquote easy. Things can happen in the NBA, but that should be an easy win for them. So hopefully they got a little light schedule coming up. I have not looked at their schedule, so I'm not sure who they got coming.
Well, if you're only going to beat the Jazz by 2, there should be no light schedule for the Lakers coming up, Legend. I mean, the Clippers are next on Tuesday. I mean, that is, coming off of a 55-point performance over the weekend by James Harden. It just seems like it's now James Harden and the rest of the Clippers. I do know, Kawhi came back for the Cleveland game. So, yes, they conveniently get a little healthier come Tuesday. So we'll see how that works out. But for the Lakers, like I said, this is the point in the schedule. They have to go ahead and try and rack up some wins, not just for them against Denver, but Houston and San Antonio and the Phoenix Suns, probably one of the biggest surprise teams in basketball right now, as far as being competitive at this point.
I definitely didn't see Phoenix being this good. I don't think nobody did. So that's a very surprise to see that they're rising. But I can definitely say it looks like the West is going to look very similar to how it was last year, where 2 through 7 and 8 is going to be bunched up, and 1 or 2 losses will drop you from 2 to 5 or so. It looks like it's going to be really tight, and you just can't afford to really drop no games. It's looking like it's just going to be that bunched up all over again. Because I think Houston, Lakers, Denver, Spurs, like right there with each other, like literally like right there with each other. One person lose 2 games in a row, you just drop like a rock. So it's going to be very tight, and who knows, the Suns might jump to that 7th or 6th spot. They keep on doing what they're doing right now. So my Warriors sure ain't doing nothing. But at least the Hawks doing something.
I will say Joe is probably going to get a nice little kick out of this one I'm asking, because the S1 got a question in there. Hey, Joe, what are your thoughts on Vando being in the doghouse like he's been the past couple of games?
You should stay there the rest of the year.
And you wonder why I believed what was said.
I don't wish Vando to get hurt. There's a difference. And I don't wish anyone to get hurt except George Springer. That's it. That was the only guy I ever wanted hurt, because he's a piece of shit, just like all the other Houston Astro cheating asshole pieces of shit. And Yoshinobu Yamamoto served him some nice sweet chin music with a baseball and a little scared and a good amount of scare jumps. And then, of course, the last at bat that piece of shit had was a strikeout. And then the game before then was him sitting on in the on deck circle watching his team lose. Right. Other than that, I don't wish any ill will on anybody in the NBA, especially Vando in terms of getting hurt. No, but Vando belongs not on the court, and I will stick to that. I don't want him anywhere near the court. He is Kwame Brown in the small forward body. And I had 2 years of having to watch Kwame Brown attempt to play basketball, and that was all. That was the limit I had on that. And a lot of those I saw live too. It's just I'm watching a team that has a focus. They are playing uncomfortably well. They're not even comfortable yet, and they're playing well. Wait till they get comfortable. Then things are going to get very interesting. And then it's going to be the battle of fittest, because that's what the NBA is turning into. They go into the playoffs with momentum, a high seed, where they're going to play maybe a first-round team that they have a huge advantage over. Then they can go and win that series and have some even more momentum going into the second and third seed. And if things happen, things play out a certain way, they avoid certain matchup issues with certain teams, or somebody gets hurt, this thing can open up, just like it's been opening up the last 4 seasons for the champions in that year. And that's it. That's all I got.
Sammy, yes, Jordan Goodwin didn't have a good game, but by the way, Joe, can you answer the question, I guess, that was made earlier about which non-All-Star you would like to see on this team if you had a choice as a 5th starter? Sammy, I will say this: Jordan Goodwin had a good game, but what would you choose? Keeping Jordan Goodwin or getting Marcus Smart? Because you couldn't keep it either which way. You
I'd rather have Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is what we all have seen as Laker fans. That player that comes in that becomes an X factor. He's that guy. He's of the Ron Artest. He's of the Trevor Ariza. He's the Horace Grant in 01. So I'll break it down for you. Horace Grant was like an X factor in 01. Trevor Ariza was the X factor in 09. Artest was the X factor, even though he's a famous one. He's a known one more than Trevor at the time. Well, Horace is known too, but he was kind of at the end of his career. But when you have that X factor, that veteran player that does those little things that can stomp the momentum for your opponent or create momentum for you, that's what he does. And he doesn't have to do it by scoring. He'll do it on defense. And you saw it on the last play. If you guys have DVRs, go back and watch it and see. I don't know if he did some kind of formation of a what do they call it when you're backing up and the chair, they pull the chair. I don't know if he did something like that. And Utah's, I can't remember who the guy was. I don't know if I couldn't even remember if it was. I was so fixated on the inbound, I didn't pay attention to who was playing for Utah. But the person fell, and all the coaches in Utah thought there was a foul. I'm like, dude, the guy just fell because he didn't know what to do, and Marcus Smart took advantage of it. So, anyways, point is, Marcus Smart is the veteran leader that you need on a team like this. Goodwin is got a lot of promise, but he's not gonna be like an Austin Reaves, I don't think, or like a Caruso. That's a different story. So you got to take what you can take now that can benefit you now, because this team needs somebody like Marcus Smart, like desperately. He needs to stay healthy the whole year, and they'll be in much better shape if he is.
Before I get it to Legend, can you still answer the question? Because they've been asking twice. If you could pick one non-all-star to be on this team, who would that be?
In the NBA?
Yes, I picked Trey Murphy, by the way, for everybody out there listening.
Jamal Murray.
Good choice. Well done. Yeah, that's a good choice.
I would love Jamal Murray on this team. I know he makes a lot of money, but if we're just talking player, not that hasn't made an all-star. Oh,
yeah.
Jamal Murray on this team with Luka on the back. Oh, you would pay. I know he's had health issues, but we're talking all intense. We're talking with all negativity aside. If he's on that court and he's right, Jamal Murray is a beast, and no one knows that more than the Lakers.
Martin, not if McLaren keeps on getting DQ'd. Verstappen, I don't know if you know this. Verstappen closed the gap pretty heavily as far as the overall standings with his victory yesterday, and the fact that both McLarens were DQ'd about 5 hours after the race. I guess the panel underneath where it absorbs the shocks, where it hits the ground and whatnot. That's why you see the sparks. I guess something's wrong with it. That panel, I don't know. It seemed like a week to me, but all right, whatever. I was just, again, a great showing in Las Vegas, sold out in Las Vegas. So I guess I'll be having it next year.
Nick T, what? you don't think Jamal Murray and Luka as a backcourt would work?
I think they play off each other really well.
Jamal does all the stuff that Luka normally doesn't do, and Luka does all the stuff.
Maybe you question his as a defender, Joe, but again, I would take that anytime. I would take that. It's F1 racing, CJ. Just wanted Formula One racing because there was a Formula One race here last night here in Las Vegas. Legend, let me bring it back to you.
Michael Porter Jr. is streaky. He's too streaky for me.
He's killing it right now in Brooklyn because he's getting all the shots in Brooklyn.
I'd rather have Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's a little more dependable in my view in terms of shot making.
I would agree with you on that. Legend, let me bring it back to you. One of the complaints that have come up for your Golden State Warriors, besides the age factor, is the fact that they get killed on the boards. They really have Quentin Post. I like the kid. Maybe he'll turn out to be something, but like what we say about Dalton, soft as tissue.
Yep.
And then you have 90-year-old Al Horford that's supposed to man the middle for you. Other than that, it's Draymond Green. So again, like the Lakers, they have an issue as far as how many bodies they can throw at the boards on a constant basis. And you saw a little bit of that tonight with the Lakers getting killed by Nurkic, who probably will be an interesting trade piece. I know that sounds weird, but because of the fact he's a big body, he might be attractive to some teams that want to fill some size later this year. See Danny Ainge on that one. But when you have a team like yours and ours that are soft on the boards, my friend, what do you do to compensate? Because you're just going to get killed on the boards. And Lakers are still getting it done besides the offensive rebounds that they're giving it up. But again, in a series, if you're playing a 7-game series against an OKC, a Houston, even to an extent Denver, that might come back on you and it might cost you.
Yeah, they gotta make some moves, and that's something that I've been saying the last 2 years with the Warriors. You need a big. You need someone who can rebound, someone who can block shots. You've been needing a really good big for the longest, and for whatever reason, you just won't do it. And I don't understand. Like you cannot win a championship getting killed on the board. You're not gonna win no championship. It's like you just said. It's gonna come back and bite you. And in the NBA, biggest thing I noticed, wherever your weaknesses is in the regular season, it's gonna bite you badly in the playoffs. It's gonna be showing glaringly. And the Warriors gotta make some type of trade. It's pretty obvious at this point. They gotta do something. That record they got right now is not pretty. They should be better than that. So we're gonna see if they make some moves, but they gotta get a big. They really need a big, and hey, if Danny Ainge's gonna make that trade, go on and pick up the phone and call him. What we got to do? We got a nice.
What are Golden State fans asking for right now? What are they asking for right now when they talk to you guys? Because you guys are 9-9 right now, definitely struggling. What are they asking for in Golden State?
We need a big, and we need to get a little younger. It's just the old part is just. Is that the part I was really concerned about? The Golden State Warriors, you got to get a little bit younger. The Al Horford part is not a bad move, but the fact that you're relying so heavily on this was to me not good. We've been asking for a big for a long time, still ain't got that part. You're still pretty old. Get Steph some more help. They need to get a little younger, but at the same time still be able to compete.
Because Steph's having a great season. He's averaging above 30 points a game this year.
He is. He's like he kind of feel like he's doing it by himself almost. It's more so him carrying you a lot. You shouldn't be asking a 37-year-old to be doing that much. They need to get some better younger pieces right now, and you need to go get a big. But right now, it's not going to cut it in the Western Conference. It's just not going to cut it. They got to make some moves. The team's not good enough. It's not going to cut it. This ain't it. This ain't it. This not it. This ain't gonna get it done. They gotta make some moves. Go on and trade Kuminga. Get him on.
Well, we'll see what happens, but I think everybody's waiting until that December 15th and then January 15th deadline, Joe, when virtually every player becomes available by January 15th. Then you start looking at what really each of these teams needs, and you start to understand, right at the January 15th area, we should already know who the buyers and the sellers are by that time, Joe. So it's still November. It's still 2 months away. But are you thinking the Lakers should start eyeing? Well, they don't have a scouting department, obviously, to go ahead and send people to take a look right now. But are they eyeing, in your opinion, what they might need or might start to need or might start to look at who might be available at the period of time?
I'd say the reorganization that's going on with the Lakers right now might be in preparation to get things going so that by last week of February, maybe the last 2 weeks before the deadline, they can start figuring out what could be there. Any chance that Atlanta would send Jalen Johnson to LA?
Nope.
Oh my God.
What's it?
They
We'll
want
give y'all.
multiple draft
We'll give y'all credit.
You asked non-all-star. And the reason why I picked Murray is because he's a champion. He's still young. He don't miss if he's open, right? Something that the Lakers seem to always do, no matter who it is, whether it's Luka, whether it's Reaves, whether it's LeBron. But if you're asking me roster construction for the next phase, when we talk about 3-and-D player, when we talk about 20 and 10, that's the guy. Get him now. Get him now before you got to drop 50 mil on him.
Well, Johnson's already he's already been the Eastern Conference Player of the Week last week. I think he was.
Yeah, he's and I'm sure you guys had a chance to see when the Lakers were in Atlanta how that went. And I think my curiosity, it's not really a curiosity. I'm sorry, that's the wrong word. If I'm saying this and we know this, it's very likely that the new regime and those analytical types, they're going to be in abundance, guys. That's the one thing that you can't compete with in the NBA is the Lakers are going to have the best executive setup before too long. Right now it's Oklahoma City. You could put San Antonio in there. There's a couple other teams you could put in there too. But the Lakers will be running on all cylinders. All the oils will be right. All the gas, spark plugs. Those guys are going to start making some calls, and they're going to be making deals. And if you want to ask, again, if you really want to ask me about what's the next phase of the Luka era dynasty, what better way? If you're not going to get a Giannis or a Jokic, you start with somebody like a Jalen Johnson and then maybe one other guy that has an impact like him. And then you don't really need 2 stars. Maybe you can go 1 megastar and then 2 all-stars. And then just fill it in around that. It's going to be fun. Because I'm very confident that at some point the Lakers are going to make things happen there in some way, whoever it is.
Once again, it is the Lakers winning 108-106 after games of scores of Luka Doncic, 33 points, 3 of 12 shooting from 3, but 10 of 12 from the free throw line, 10 of 24 overall from the field. Austin Reaves chipped in with 22. Luka had 11 rebounds and 8 assists. Also as well, Austin Reaves, 10 rebounds, 4 assists for him. Let me ask you this, though. LeBron James, and oh, by the way, 17 points, getting back into things. Still wish he'd been back better as far as the three-point shooting. Was 0-4 from behind the arc today. Still doesn't look great overall. Missed a little bit inside as well, but he is getting back to being a pretty good level player once again. I would not say he's looked anywhere near what we were hoping for LeBron, even at age 41 next month. But again, so far 2 wins. I know that Stephon threw out there as far as the plus minus when he's out there on the court as opposed to when he's off the court. But LeBron, I don't think he's killed this team. I don't think he's given a huge boost to this team. I think the first game against Utah with the assists was really helpful, and I'm hoping he can go ahead and continue that. Your thoughts on LeBron easing back into this? Again, I'm not expecting LeBron James of the past to just come in and start dominating anytime soon, but it looks like he's just easing back into the rhythm of the game, Legend.
Yeah, I think LeBron is pretty much still getting his wind back, getting his legs back. He looked pretty good. He looked not as bad as people were thinking he's going to be when he come back, and a lot of people thought he was going to just crash the whole train or anything, but he's been doing pretty good. You can tell he's not there just yet, but he's getting there. And who knows? It might be a little bit of, age beginning to show, because this is a possibility that might be starting to kick in some right now. But I highly doubt LeBron complaining too much. This is what he always wanted. give the keys to someone else, and he can kind of just coast along. That's good for his age. At 41, he shouldn't be doing that much. So not bad, He's not hurting the team, not impacting the team as LeBron in the past. But he's doing what you need him to do right now. And that's the most important part. He's still winning. Nothing ain't changed.
So funny because I just saw what the I was mad, Joe, at the Raiders. Just a little off topic, real quick, because I know that your Steelers, they didn't have Rodgers there, but he is supposed to be back against the Bills, from what I hear. The Raiders, it's just a dumpster fire, and I got mad. I don't even know why, because I don't even really like the team as much as I used to when I was a kid. They're here in Vegas. It's nice. You go to a game here, but this is just a team that is just so disappointing. They just fired their offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly, who left UCLA to come back for this mess. I mean, we see it right now in the NBA with teams like Brooklyn. We see it right now with teams like Washington. There's 5-6 teams out there that are really a mess right now, organization wise, in the NBA. But to do this on such a high level right now, the Raiders it's just so disappointing and frustrating from a fan base's sake. And seeing this in Utah tonight, to seeing a team now that's, again, looks like it's on its way to tanking. As a fan, you've really got to be frustrated for these continually bad organizations that make continually bad moves.
I think what's even more shocking is that Pete Carroll is the head coach, and usually Pete Carroll has a good, solid base. Guys play hard for him. They respect him. There's a settlement with him. I don't know how to really put it any other way other than, unless they get a transcendent athlete, it's likely going to have to be a quarterback. That's just the way NFL is these days. It's going to have to be like a Peyton Manning that comes and saves them. If you remember, in 1998, Peyton Manning was drafted by the Indianapolis Colts. Before then, the Indianapolis Colts were what the Raiders were for 20 years. After Burt Jones in the 70s and that Mayflower sneaking at night going from Baltimore to Indianapolis, the Irsays, and I'm not going to trample on a man who's passed, but the Irsays have not had a really good communication with things. I'm just going to leave it at that. So here comes Peyton Manning in 1998, and the Indianapolis Colts become one of the more relevant teams of the next 15 years. Think about that for a second. The average career for an NFL player is 3 years. Peyton Manning, the universe-altering player, turned a joke into a perennial winner. Even though they didn't win as many Super Bowls that I thought they would win, I thought Peyton Manning might have won 3 at least in his time. But they were winning. And they were probably the best regular season team for a solid 10 years. And I don't think anybody would argue against that. For 10 years, the Indianapolis Colts were the best regular season team in the NFL. That's what the Raiders need. They need a transcendent Peyton Manning-like player. Someone if he could stay healthy, someone like a Joe Burrow. Look what Joe Burrow did in Cincinnati with that joke of an owner. So you can bring in all the old-time Chuckies and the Pete Carrolls, and that's the problem with Mark Davis. And again, I'm trying not to stomp on guys that have passed. Al Davis, much like Dr. Buss, they didn't pass any of their skills on to the next generation. I mean, you tell me, when you look at Mark Davis, do you see You see this? I see a dink or a doink. And that's sort of an insult to Doink the Clown from the WWF back in the day, but they have to get that player. I don't see how they're going to be able to get out of this. I don't think there's a coach. You brought in Geno Smith because Geno Smith had a very I was still puzzled at up until this year that how Geno had been on the bench practically for almost a decade and then became this serviceable quarterback in Seattle. And I was happy for him. I'm like, wow, look at this. You last time I saw something even similar to this, but it was a little different back then, of course, was Rich Gannon. Rich Gannon was a lifetime backup. And then finally, Al said, look, I'm going to make you a starter. No one's really giving you any respect. They're not giving you any respect in Minnesota. They're not giving you any hell. They took Rich Gannon, and he was rolling in 97 with Kansas City. They were rolling. And then they put Gerbach back in, and then they lost that first playoff game when they were the 1 seed. And that was Rich Gannon's late MVP career, right? Geno kind of had that without the MVP. But then when whatever happened this year looked like it ran out. And it doesn't look like it's ever going to come back. And Pete Carroll can't save it. Geno Smith can't save it. No one can save anyone in Las Vegas or the Raiders except that next star. And that next star can't be just it can't be just a serviceable quarterback. Can't be Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams will be good. I don't think he'll ever be a Peyton Manning, though. He'll never be in that ilk. So they're going to have to somehow get lucky and get a franchise-altering quarterback in May. Who that is? Is it really going to be Mendoza? I think it would be poetic. We saw what happened the last time the Raiders were actually consistently good. They had a Hispanic quarterback helping them win a couple Super Bowls. Or Latin, I should say. I'm sorry. I don't know if he's Hispanic.
So let me ask you this, Legend. I want to bring it
Boy,
back
we really
to
went off the rails on that one. You were right.
I started it, though, because I don't know why.
I love talking NFL, guys. Most of the people that are conversing on LFB don't know the NFL part of what we do.
But it kind of bothered me. It's just one of those things. I let Mark know, and it was like, I was just upset. I'm just upset because it's just a bad product. And it's not because I'm a huge fan of the Raiders organization at this point in my life. I have gone to see games this year with that. It's just a bad product. And I get mad when a team that has advantages financially, socially, other ways, they just have done nothing with it. And, them being here in Las Vegas, it just is done nothing for this organization, provided no boost at all. And you're expecting this fan base to be supportive of it. And you see the games now, the Cleveland Browns filled up half the stadium with their fans. Joe's team, Pittsburgh, when they came there last year, 70% of the stadium was Pittsburgh fans. It's a joke. And the Raiders are supposed to be one of the most storied organizations in all of the NFL, but it's just a mystique. And I feel bad for Mark and Sean, these diehard Raider fans that are just getting such a bad product because so many bad choices are made. It's just, that's why I brought it up, Joe. So again, we're seeing that here in the NBA already, Legend, because Legend, you see these teams that are out there and they're already tanking. They're already playing for next season. They're already playing for the draft upcoming. Before I hear your thoughts on how bad some of these teams are, I mean, when it concerns Charlotte, Brooklyn, Indiana, Washington, then you've got Utah, Dallas, that Cooper Flag, he's been playing better, but it's still not helping the team win. Sacramento, Doug Christie, if he didn't have, I'm thankful he's bald because he would have ripped out all of his hair out by now. And then you're also seeing what's happening in New Orleans, which is just a train wreck. These teams are absolutely putrid. But when it comes to the Lakers, I know I didn't ask you yet. You heard the situation that went on earlier last week with both the Bus brothers getting terminated and most of the scouting department being let go as well. The college basketball season has already started, and the Lakers do have a first round choice. Now, whether or not they keep it is up for debate because on draft day, they will technically have 3 first round draft choices they can move at that point in time. But when you don't have a scouting department, it really makes it tough right now to evaluate talent, not just for colleges, not just for high schools, but for these scouts also scout other players in the NBA as well.
Yeah, it does make it a lot harder to, scout when you pretty much just clean house. But I'm going to assume they already got something in place before they did, and they're going to assume that they were already prepared.
I mean, Joe has been very confident in the organizational change, and I'm going to rely on Joe's faith on that. So I'm assuming that they have something in place as well. But yeah, the timing of it was just kind of weird to me. That's why, even though was brought out, both Bus brothers those were the 2 guys, those were the 2 individuals that voted against the sale of this. So you pretty much sealed your death warrant when you said, I don't want Mark Walter to buy the team.
You're going at that point. You already pretty much said going to fire me at that point. Yeah, it was over with. If I knew you was against it, yeah, you might as well want to quit that same day.
Well, here, look, I'm gonna defend Joey and Jesse here real quick before we
and you have. I mean, that they wanted.
You have to admire those 2 for staring at $900 million each and saying, "Nah, we want the team our father owned." Now, even if they were able to, they cannot compete in today's sports landscape, especially in the NBA. God bless you. I feel bad for them. I really do. I get it. I would want the team too. If I was in their position, I would want the team too. And I'm sure Dr. Bus wanted them to take over because it's his children and he wanted the family business to continue. But the reality is, it's impossible, and you've already seen it. If they had those grades that they have in the NFL, which, by the way, a lot of the owners want to get rid of it now. If they had that in the NBA, I'm positive that the Lakers' grades would be in the D's or maybe even the F's. So it's unfortunate, and I'm not a Jeannie Buss fan. I'm not a Rob Pelinka fan, and there's been a lot of, oh, they're fighting and they're this and they're that. And I've been saying, I'm like, well, that's stuff kind of doesn't matter that's their family business. But to explain it clearly and to make everyone understand that even if they were, look at the example in Vegas. I mean, we just talked about it, so it's a good segue into explaining why. You cannot have Mark Davis running your team because this is the result, and it's been like this for a while. The only thing that changed from when he was in Oakland to now is he got richer. That's it. And he doesn't mean ill will. He's actually a nice guy from what I've heard. He's accommodating. He supports the players, doesn't stick his beak in. But that's not the point here. And it's the Raiders. The league is always better when the Raiders are playing well, when the Cowboys are playing well, when the Steelers are playing well. It's better for the league. That's why the last few years in Major League Baseball, with the Yankees going to the World Series, with the Dodgers winning, it created a better product because people want to see the Dodgers win or lose. They want to see the Yankees win or lose. And then you just happen to have the 2 best players on the planet on those teams, and you rarely get that in baseball. So now you have that to play with. There's so many little working parts in here, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. There's no way Joey and Jesse could compete in the NBA with their resources. Mark Walter, the Guggenheims, and his team can. And not only are they great at it, they're one of the few billionaires that actually operate like a mom and pop, but they're billionaires. You get the best of both worlds. I've seen it. All you got to do is look at the Dodgers, how family-oriented that whole setup is, how almost everybody there is likable, man. I've heard this so many times by people who loathe the Dodgers. Like, God, I can't stand the Dodgers. But, man, Freddie Freeman is money. Man, Mookie's awesome. Oh, man, Ohtani's class. Guys, come on.
So let me just go ahead and get Legend in here real quick. And once again, the Lakers win 108-106. The Lakers are now 12-4, second place in the Western Conference. As someone who, again, has teams that he enjoys on both the Eastern and Western Conference a lot, who scares you out there that's not named OKC Thunder? Is there someone that we are not talking about that we should? Should we talk about more about Detroit? Should we, how real is that start by them? What about the Phoenix Suns? Is there a team that scares you or at least raises your eyebrow just a little that's not based in Oklahoma City?
I would honestly say I think Phoenix is the biggest surprise right now. I really just didn't expect them to be what they're doing. So I feel like that's one of them teams that can sneak up on you. Detroit's another one. Didn't see that one coming either at all. That one was probably might be the biggest surprise of the whole season. No one probably would have guessed Detroit would be what they are right now. Like, Detroit to me is just on a heck of a road. Being 14-2, that's impressive coming back from. They just made the playoff for the first time in years last year, and now they're 14-2. That's impressive. So I would probably say Phoenix for me on the West and probably Detroit on the East. What will probably make me a little more concerned about going to things. I still think it may be a little soon for Detroit. I still want to see a little more from them, just to see if they really for real. Like, this is really the Detroit Pistons that are this good, or is it fluky a little bit? So I kind of want to watch them go through the month of December, and maybe about January, I begin to know, like, okay, they are serious. Like, this is the real deal.
Two teams I'll throw at you, Legend, that are having your Atlanta Hawks a little bit worried. Have you realized Toronto Raptors have won 7 in a row and are second place in the Eastern Conference?
Yeah.
How much of magic is that? I mean, when you look at that team, their bench has been playing really well, and their starters, while they scare nobody as an individual, as a collective, that starting lineup has been gelling really well. Brandon Ingram, again, he only does certain things well, but when he's allowed to do it and he stays out on the floor, it helps the team win.
I guess we're really helping him out to play better. But so far, that's another surprise too on them as well. And right now, when I look at the Eastern Conference, it's kind of a big flip on the low when you think about it. A lot of the teams that have been up top for the last couple of years are all at the bottom right now. And a lot of the ones that was at the bottom, they're the ones up top. So it's almost like it's a conference shift a little bit, where the younger teams are now beginning to come into play, beginning to come into age, and a lot of the older stars, a lot of the older guys are now all of a sudden coming down to earth. It is like it's a big flip compared to the last couple of years, and I want to see a little bit more of Toronto too, to see if they for real, see if they really this good, or is it kind of just fluky right now, and they'll be see who they really are as some time go by. But we in the mix.
Yep, they in the mix. And then also as well, Joe and I noted when the Lakers played the Miami Heat that they were, really out of kind of a crossroads with their season. After that game, it's clear that they made a change. They stopped running the pick and roll, which almost every other team incorporates heavily into their offense. Once they stopped utilizing the pick and roll, Legend, their offense has been unreal. They're averaging, I think, close to 130 points a game in those games since since the Lakers game. Your thoughts on the Miami Heat, who've also been on a hot streak of late? Pardon the pun on that one.
It looks like they don't flip the script too. It looks like kind of funny how they pretty much unlock their offense when they decide to drop the pick and roll. Just another situation of this conference is flipped. The Eastern Conference kind of more interesting than the West right now. The West is kind of going the way I predicted, the way I thought it probably would go. The East is nowhere near what I would have imagined at all right now. I would have probably never believed somebody would have told me Detroit would be number one. That is interesting that the Heat offense is 130. That is amazing right there.
Well, again, it's just a short sample, and they have played some teams that are not that great during it, but it's just something I just wanted to let everybody know that they changed their style of offensive play, Joe, and they found really a style that works to their benefit. But before we head on out, Joe, I wanted to go ahead and hear your thoughts about the next week for the Lakers. Tuesday, they play against the Clippers at home. Friday is against Dallas on Black Friday. Then Sunday, they're home against New Orleans. And Monday, back to back, they've been off 4 days. They've been off 6 of the last 8 days, Joe. And somehow they're doing another back to back again. Ridiculous. But anyways, next Monday against Phoenix at home. So it's a 4-game homestand starting with the Clippers. Your thoughts on how the Lakers will do against those 4 teams?
I would say there's a high probability that they could win out, but I'll play it safe and say they'll win 3 out of the 4. And then the real big test is actually coming after that, before the Christmas game. So you're looking at a team that's going to be going on a 6-game road trip to the Northeast. And usually, again, they usually do that trip right around the Grammy time, but this time they're going to be doing it before Christmas. And I like it when you do these hard trips early, when you're fresh, when you're not kind of burnt out a little bit in February and end of January. They're going to play Toronto, which has been playing well. Boston, Jason Tatum not being there, they're doing what they're doing. Philly plays well. Then they got to go back to Utah on their way back. Then they come back to LA, but play the Clippers at Intuit. And then the last road trip game would be, for that particular road trip, would be in Phoenix. And they're playing well.
Well, you got to remember, though, there is a caveat that you see there's a gap in days, about 11 days between the 7th and the 18th. They're going to fill it with something as far as the NBA Cup is concerned,
Right.
whether the Lakers are in or not, in or out on that.
Right. So what they're going to do is when they get back from Philly, they're going to be at home, unless, of course, they end up going to the Cup. Then they got to go to Vegas. I don't like 4 or 5 days off. And you saw the reason why tonight. We think that it's good for them. It's not. This is not an old this is not an old team minus LeBron. Marcus Smart has got some mileage, but he ain't old. This is a young team. This team needs to have rhythm. Obviously a couple days off is good. A day off, a couple days off, cool. But this was too big of a gap. And it showed tonight because they couldn't shoot. And even the guys that don't necessarily shoot consistently well, they were just bad. I think Austin at one point was 1 of 7 from 3. That might have been kind of his final line from downtown. Let me look real quick. Yeah, he was 1 of 8. That's because of the days off. I bet you he hits 3 out of 8 if it wasn't that big of a gap. So anyways, it's a young team minus LeBron. And LeBron, in the first 2 games, you could see he's not getting taxed. That's the other really good part of the last 2 games. If this is how he is in these games against the Utahs, on the road, at home, I'm telling you right now, he's going to be very effective in the games where we really need LeBron to do LeBron things. So right now, everything is honestly being set up as good as you can set it up. You're winning the close games. You're winning on the road. You're winning games when you're not really playing that well, and you're still winning with injuries. I mean, what else is there? What do you got to do? You got to strip everyone out. And by the way, this isn't just DeAndre Ayton not playing and Marcus Smart. Dude, Luka hasn't played. LeBron hasn't played other than 2 games. Austin Reaves has not played. These are your main guys, and they still won. All good signs. So build from that. Take advantage of the early road schedule so that you have as much energy and as much focus as you can. Win those games. If they win, let's say 3 out of 4 in the next 4 home games, and then win 4 of the next 6 in that 6-game road trip with the middle part of the NBA Cup being there, now you're looking at a team that's 19-7. That is a damn good record after 26 games. That is a damn good record. I would have never predicted 19-7 with all the change that happened, and with LeBron not playing because he was injured. In a billion years, I would have never said 19-7. I would have said 15. If they were 15-11, I would have said, hey, we got out of that LeBron gap. Let's now start putting things together. But they're 4 games up on that. Good. Win 3 of the next 4 at home. Win 4 of 6 on that road trip. And you're in a very, very good position going into the Christmas game, playing Houston, which I still think I think the Lakers can beat them and be formidable against them. And then you go into Christmas, you win that game at home. You're now 20-9. You've won 20 games after Christmas. That's a hell of an accomplishment after all of the injuries and all of the changes that have happened during the year and during the offseason.
So before we head on out, just wanted to get some quick thoughts. Joe already described Legend his thoughts on how Luka is now with the Lakers in second place. Luka has to be firmly in that argument. Yet again, it didn't look pretty from the outside, but 33 points. He's averaging 34 on the season. He's leading the league in scoring. You do have SGA. SGA is just cruising 31 points a game. It was funny the other day when somebody threw out the statistic that Bronny has played in more fourth quarters than SGA. That is absolutely scary.
Whoa.
That was actually a true thing. Oklahoma City is 17-1. SGA has to be in that conversation. And of course, we've talked about Nikola Jokic, who leads the league in rebounds and assists on a team that's also 12-4. I think we're going to really see with both Gordon and Braun out exactly how well Nikola Jokic will do going forward and where they're at when they get better. Your thoughts right now? It's a close race right now. And if somebody says Luka is the MVP, I can't argue. If somebody says Nikola Jokic, I can't argue. If somebody says SGA, I can't argue. It's those 3 at the top because what happened to Giannis seems to now there be a gap. There's now a gap with those 3 guys and everyone else.
Well, I feel like this can go either way right now. I will say though, with Gordon and Braun both out, this is Jokic's chance to put a real statement on that MVP. If you can win these games knowing you're missing some starters, that can make a real humongous statement. But this can go either way. Like you said, Gerald, I can hear anyone say Luka, I can understand that. You say Jokic, I can understand that. And then if you were to say SGA, definitely can understand that. Look at their record. So it's like either way. I'm kind of curious to see how this thing gonna play out and how you're gonna be able to separate all 3 of these dudes. If let's say the way things are, it'd be just like this all the way to the finish line. How you separate it.
How long do you keep Giannis in that top 5? Because I know that Wemby has fallen out and now he's got injured. Cade Cunningham and Spider Mitchell in Cleveland. Obviously, Spider Mitchell's been playing unreal and carrying the Cleveland Cavaliers on his back. Joe's shaking. Yeah, you've seen that. And then Cade Cunningham is gearing the best team in the East. When do those guys get in the conversation? I don't think they could be in the top 3, but now you may be looking at with Giannis's injury legend, and Joe will get you right after this, as those two in that top 5 conversation.
K is definitely in the top 5. I think he has to be there because no one saw Detroit being in the spot that they are at. So I feel like K is automatically, he's in the top 5. Can't be in the top 3, but definitely he's at least top 5 right now. Donovan Mitchell is basically keeping Cleveland in the mix right now for that top 3 spots in the East right now. But K, no doubt about it. I would put him at 4. He's ahead of Giannis. Yeah, Wemby definitely fell off a little bit now, but K's done an amazing job. So that's, to me, a humongous improvement for Detroit. That's a heck of an accomplishment he done so far for them.
Joe, you could almost say Giannis supporters might have a point, because since Giannis has been out, the Milwaukee Bucks are now under 500, and that Giannis was the only thing that was keeping up above 500. But again, Spider Mitchell is having an unreal season for himself. He is playing like it's the playoffs, because we all know he turns it up in the playoffs as well. And Cade Cunningham is leading the East, leading Detroit Pistons. Again, the top 3 are not in question, but those two having a great year makes it a little more interesting right now.
The problem with the MVP and the NBA is it's not like Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball will vote for Barry Bonds, Shohei, Aaron Judge. As long as they're the best at that year, they don't care if they have to give it to that same guy every year. That's how you're supposed to do it. Because when you look back at the process, and there was an argument for Cal Raleigh this year. He had a legitimate argument. But the point is, he's still the best player in the AL. And he did lead his team to the playoffs. He was a valuable asset, right? In the NBA, you can say Cade Cunningham is an MVP candidate. You can say Donovan Mitchell is an MVP candidate based off common sense, but is the voters going to say they are? Because they're so fixated on the preseason picks. It's already set in stone. Hey, it's going to be Shea, Jokic, and Luka. That's all really people are going to be looking at. Giannis, sure, he's in there, but I think they're looking at it as, well, he's already won a couple MVPs. We don't really need to give him another one. That's how the NBA voters think. And in the NFL, it's even worse, because all they ever do is give it to the quarterback. Like, they don't give that damn award to anybody. Saquon Barkley should have been the MVP last year. Okay? He should have won the MVP, but they don't want to give it. Oh, and the hilarious part about that talk, I'm like, all right, if you're not going to give it to Saquon because he's a running back, the one year I said Lamar Jackson was the MVP and you didn't give it to him. He had an unreal season last year, and you still gave it to Allen, Josh Allen in Buffalo. I'm like, what are you guys watching? So I don't believe Cade Cunningham is anywhere near an MVP based off of how I've seen the NBA voters vote. Same with Donovan Mitchell. Let alone unless Cleveland, let's say, because Cade isn't established yet. This is like his first year where he's becoming a little more transcendent, right? I've only seen I'm trying to think if I can remember. I think Derrick Rose might be the only player from my memory where it came out of nowhere. As good as he was, it just, wow, he's going to win an MVP with LeBron in the league at his height? That was the only time I've seen it like that. So it'd have to be something like that. Is Donovan Mitchell going to end up being the 1 seed in the East and playing like a madman right now? But it would have to mean that Shea is in a 1 seed It would have to mean the Lakers are not playing well, and it would have to mean that Denver is like a 6 or 7 seed. Something like all that has to happen for Donovan Mitchell to win the MVP. Like everything has to be perfect. Because the voters have already said, not literally to your face, but just in habit, it's going to go to either Jokic, Shai Gilgeous, or Luka. And the way Luka's going to get it is he's going to get it if the Lakers are at worst a 2 seed. And Luka has to win the scoring title and probably would have to be at 9-9 rebounds and assists, or maybe even a triple-double. Because if Shai's dropping 30 and they're like 10 games ahead, you all know this. Most of the voters are in that central area and in the Northeast, and all those assholes always vote away from LA as much as they can for a couple of reasons. Number one, they hate the West Coast. The other part is they're asleep when the games are going on over here. The Lakers have never had an MVP that wasn't a 1 seed.
CJ, it's not pretty right now with Ja Morant. And yeah, I know you guys wanted my comments. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Hope all is well with you, my friend. I know it's your work week already. Between Ja Morant and Klay Thompson, legend I'm going to bring in here because I also got a question for you at the end. But your thoughts on that interaction. It's funny because I made a joke on there. I said it's 2 guys already past their prime and one is 28. But Ja has been awful this year. No one can dispute that. I don't think he's past his prime, but it's his athleticism is going to only last so long, and we obviously see that Ja cannot make up for it. Or it's not the old adage, players that relied on their athleticism in their early years finally find other parts of their game in their later years, like Blake Griffin, for example. Or like McGrady or some other guys that really found their stroke after age 30 and whatnot. I don't see that happening with Ja. I mean, he's still under 20% from 3, if I remember correctly, and it's bad, legend, right now. And I understand they've won 6 games, but it's just not good right now. And between those two teams, I don't think there should be anyone talking trash on either side right now because both are really bad situations.
Teams talking trash. So it's kind of funny to me. You're both losing. And neither one of you really should be talking. Neither one of you. I will say for Jaws fell off bad. Like this is what happens when you rely on athleticism and you don't develop no other parts of your game. You're gonna end up falling off a cliff a lot faster than anyone else, and you're going to end up finding yourself right outside the league if you want to develop a jump shot or something at some point. And that's what happened in the Ja right now. And still kind of got that cockiness and that immature part in him. You still got to work on that part. But Klay definitely lost it too. I think Klay is hitting that reality check. No show. Now, I will say, Klay, you went off the court. Got Megan Thee Stallion, so you went off the court. But on the court, yeah, it's been pretty ugly. It's been pretty sad, and I think to me the saddest moment, I can't remember what that clip. It was all on Twitter where he shot the ball and the ball went backward out of bounds. I knew he hit rock bottom at that point. That's rock bottom at that point, man. I mean,
CJ, his 3-point shooting, I just looked it up, 16.7% from 3. 60. I think if Joe, Legend, and myself took all those shots, the same amount of shots, we would probably shoot at more than a 16.7% from 3. Legend, I know you're available, I think, a little bit this week. If you and I can, I would love to have an NBA observation show during the day sometime this week. So hit me up on the email so we can schedule it. But please go ahead and support Legend and I Got Next Sports Media. Before I bring it back to Joe, any last thoughts before we head on out?
I'm just gonna say I am getting ready to set up my podcast for tomorrow. So if you want to check out some NBA content, check me out tomorrow. You want to talk about the Lakers? I'm gonna talk about the Hawks, talk about the Warriors' struggles. I'm definitely gonna talk about the Suns rising up in Detroit. So check me out. I'm gonna bounce around the league a good little bit tomorrow on my podcast, and I think I'm gonna do one special video where I really want to talk about how I think Oklahoma finna break the Golden State Warriors record on that 73-9. I think that's finna get broken this season. So I'm gonna do a video talking about that. Finna be a new 70+ win record this year.
And again, check out Legends. I got Next Sports Media. Please like and subscribe. Yes, Clay got benched for Max Christie, who's been actually playing pretty good as a rotation player, and now in their starting lineup once again.
I would retire if that happened to me.
Yeah, I would have retired too.
I'm like, wait a minute,
Exactly.
You're benching me for
Max Christie. Wow.
Curly Sue?
Yeah. Go on ahead home, be with Meg Stallion all you want, man.
He's shooting 47% from three on the season now, averaging what about 10 points a game. He is having a solid season, so it makes Rodell happy. But before we head on out, Joe, any last thoughts from you, my friend? Busy week for the Lakers, but we'll find out what's going on. Like you said, the homestand, very important 4-game homestand for the Lakers coming up.
Every game is going to matter, right? In this tightly contested Western Conference Finals. And seeing how the East is going to play out, which isn't much of a surprise that it was going to play out like this. We're just kind of surprised at who's sitting up top a little bit. But we had discussed earlier in the year that because of the injuries to Jason Tatum, to Halliburton in Indiana, that now Boston and Indiana are going to drop. And we were also factoring in that Philly was going to Philly themselves, as they usually do with Mr. MVP over there. The Western Conference Finals, the Western Conference winner, as of now, will likely have the upper hand in the finals. So, looking at someone like LeBron James, seeing what could be and a career extender, we talked about this. If the Lakers slither their way to a title, again, it's not if Oklahoma City is at full throttle and full team, it's gonna not likely happen. They get taken out by them. I'm not really scared of Houston. I'm not scared of Denver. I'm not scared of San Antonio. I feel if the Lakers continue to play the way they're playing, or maybe even improve a little bit because they still got to kind of build more chemistry, Oklahoma City at full throttle is going to likely beat them. And that's really probably the only team. But if they get past them due to an injury or just maybe LeBron and Luka go into sonic boom and go back to 2016 and Luka goes back to 2024, there's a very good shot that the Lakers could sneak in and steal one, kind of like how Golden State stole one in 2022. And I say steal as a compliment, not as a detriment. They took advantage of what was going on in the league in 2022 with their experience and their title medal, and they ended up winning a championship when no one had predicted Golden State was. They were in the lottery not too long before then, and all of a sudden they end up winning a championship again. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. We don't really know. The NBA is slowly turning into, is it really parity? Do they finally have parity in the NBA like they did in the 70s? It's actually worse, because when you look at the 70s, you still had a couple teams like the Knicks, Milwaukee, the Celtics, even the ones that were losing in the finals were perennial finals participants. The Lakers went to the finals in 70, 72, 73. New York went to the finals and won in 70 and 73. And then Boston won in 74 and 76. Like, there was still like kind of ready teams that were still kind of competing and still getting to the end. Here, it's like, okay, Oklahoma City's winning this one year. Denver's winning this one year. And then you don't see them in the finals again. Only Boston, I think, in the last 6 years went back more than once. Maybe it happens one more time this year. But the Lakers have a shot. They have a shot, but it's too
They
early.
do have
man.
a puncher's chance.
I don't want to
They
get
got
too
a
deep in
chance.
this.
They got a chance.
They do, and I'm still on that. Not likely, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's Oklahoma City. You know, they are here. They are here, and they are able. They've already won a championship. Yes, it took them 7 games in a couple series, but that doesn't matter. They won it all, and they're young, and they're still looking hungry, and they got the depth, and they have the right people around them, and they have the right people in the offices. So it's going to take a lot to take those guys out. And we're not going to really know
in April. We'll see how it looks going into April.
Yeah. Enjoy the season. I would say I'm going to try to enjoy the season. And maybe it's easy for me to talk like that now because these guys have won back-to-back championships. I think that helps.
Yeah, you could say Giddey's an all-star as of now. Right now, the team is above 500. They were kind of not looking great there, but
Giddey's
they've won
a
a couple
2010 player.
Yeah, he's playing
as a
well.
Guard, and he's not. That's not assists. That's rebounds.
Yeah, he got a triple-double the other night. He's playing like an all-star right now.
I'm like, Giddey's getting 10 rebounds as a guard. That guy is good.
Oh, right now the statistics with the Lakers in second place, 805. And him with the statistics, you'd probably have to say Reaves is an all-star right now. So
I will say to what Tony just said. That Oklahoma team kind of does remind me a little bit of how the Warriors were during that time period. You just roll. You just feel easy.
You're a 73-9 team, right?
It reminds me a lot of that, which is why I'm like, I really feel like they're gonna come
I don't agree on that. The Warriors had 3 guys. And then they got a 4th. When they got Durant, I was like, oh man. This is like it. And I remember having this talk too. When he signed with Golden State, I go, man, I wish I was with LeBron when that news came out. Because LeBron finally got over, and they went ahead and got, at that time, in my view, was the second best player in the NBA. On a team with the third best player in the NBA. And at that time, the only sniper defender in Clay, and then you had the Rodman of the Warriors with Draymond, who could shoot a 3. I go, who the hell's going to beat this team? Oh, you have Andrew Bogut too, right? Or was he gone at that point?
No, I think he was still there.
He was still there, right? Yeah.
Was it him or yeah?
I can't remember if they traded him before 17.
Was Zaza already there? I'm not sure. I don't remember offhand per se, but I thought it was Bogut was still there. I will say this though, when it comes to OKC again, it could be a situation legend, like you said, where it seems like it's the 73-9 team, but they are clearly indicating that they're not intending to go ahead and commit the same faux pas that your Warriors did back then as far as going after that record. They're not going to stretch themselves in doing so. If they do it, they do it, but it's not going to be because they're making every effort to do it. And they might just have so much depth on that team. They'll just do it as a matter of fact.
That's what I thought would end up happening.
Yeah, they'll just put AJ Mitchell out there. He'll score 30.
You really think that really messed them up? You really think that messed them up in that last?
I think it did. I think they put so much energy into it. I really think they did.
They were up 3-1.
Really yes, I think we did choke.
That game was over.
That 73, Joe. They really wanted that 73.
But I don't think that had anything to do with them blowing a 3-1 lead. They were done. That series was over. 2 things happened in that series that kind of threw them off. Well, really, it's one. LeBron went nuts. But Bogut getting injured, because everyone keeps yapping about Draymond Green getting suspended. I go, he still played 2 more games.
It was that injury.
Bogut getting injured in that series cost the Warriors the title, in combination of LeBron turning into Superman and Batman at the same time. It wasn't about, they ran out of gas because of 73. Dude, they were wiping everybody out. They were 1 game away. I think it's too convenient to say that because they lost.
Well, again, it's been commonplace, and that's what I, convenient or not, that's what I believe is that they spend so much energy on it. Well, it's what I believe. So sorry. Legend, you just your team just celebrated a 50th anniversary with the 50th anniversary of the championship team there, and when you get Rick Barry in a public forum, he's just gonna say a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, he never shuts up.
There. It's great. It's great though. It's like, okay, Bill Walton same way, but Bill Walton always said stuff, and just whether you liked Bill Walton or not on the team, he would always say such grandiose things and have these great stories and say such great things. I've always enjoyed Bill Walton on there. Rick Barry he has the same thing, but somehow still rubs people the wrong way. He can have all these stories and say all these things, but he still seems, I always get this tone of bitterness when I hear him say stuff. And I don't know if that's the case. You guys would have to correct me on that, but he was on the broadcast for the Warriors the other night, said some things that I think a lot of people took issue with. Did he say something, paraphrasing here, that was the greatest comeback in history, in NBA history, in his opinion? Was that 76 team? Was that Golden State Warrior team?
Yeah, I mean,
I think he said something to that effect.
Is he talking about the conference finals that year?
He said it. I forget how Rick Barry phrased it. I'm gonna look it up. But yeah, he said some really Rick Barry stuff as far as his comments the other night.
Well, they were down 3-2.
Yes.
In against Chicago the series before. For those of you who are confused, Chicago used to play in the Western Conference.
He also went off on Azubuike as well. The way he calling him not a player because he couldn't do underhanded free throws, I think it was. I think that was also he said most overlooked in history of sports. He called the 1975 title. My apologies. The most overlooked in the history of sports. And then he called out Warriors announcer Kelena as Azubuike, who did play in the league several years, he called him out as not a player. I thought that was harsh. I believe it was over the underhanded free throws thing, which I think a lot of players should consider if they're really bad at free throws. But it doesn't, it's style points, and you got to shoot it, at 50% the other way anyway. So your thoughts, Legend, on that?
I'll just say, he's always funny. He can talk a good little bit. And I mean, hey, me making the free throw, that's all that matters.
Can someone explain to me what the hell you're talking about again? What hardest what? You didn't explain it.
He said it was the most overlooked in the history of sports. He said the 1975 title was the most overlooked in the history of sports. I want to get that quote right. That's what he said. He said, it's the biggest finals upset in the history of major sports in the United States, he said.
How? They were the division champs. They won the conference and they won the champion. Like, they weren't like an 8 seed going in there or a 6 or whatever.
I'm just telling you, man, what he said. I defy anybody to point out something as dramatic.
That's the first team to get the Larry O'Brien, by the way. That's good.
I think we epitomize.
You know what they used to have? You know what they used to have, Gerald? They used to have a cup.
Yep, I remember
the
that.
Stanley Cup,
I've
but
seen
it was
the
smaller.
film of that.
Yeah. So the 75 Warriors were the first team to get the Larry O'Brien Golden Ball.
Most overlooked in sports, according to him. Biggest finals upset in the history of major sports in the United States, according to Rick Barry.
Don't know about that.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
The biggest
You gotta
upset,
love him
the
for
biggest
his
upset
practice.
in
You
my
just gotta
in
love
my
the way he just says his
is
stuff.
the Pistons beating the Lakers in 04. That was the biggest upset.
I'm almost kind of disappointed that he didn't stay in media in this social media generation, guys, because he has these takes which, we criticize the Kendrick Perkins and the Stephen A. Smiths of the world, the Nick Wrights of the world. Just think if we were hearing Rick Barry on a weekly basis, guys, what would you think about that? You think he would say something just as shocking or just as divisive in his statements?
NBA Centel have plenty of content on Twitter.
Yeah. Joe?
I'm sorry. What was the question? I was answering Nick T's comment.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying as far as Rick Barry,
I
because
don't know what the hell Nick T is talking about. Random shit.
David Blatt.
I'm talking about Rick Barry, though.
Where did you pull that out of? Hey, Doug Moe is a better coach than Mike Malone. Everybody's like, who the hell's Doug Moe?
Because we're now comparing Tyrone Lue to David Blatt.
I mean, it does kind of sort of fit. It sort of fit in the discussion. Rick Barry here is celebrating an amazing achievement, 50 years, right? I mean, shit, that's half a century, man. And he's talking about nonsense.
I mean, do you miss
enjoy the moment, man? You guys are still alive too.
Because he was on Sirius XM too. But do you miss the fact that he didn't stay on, to hear his takes on a weekly basis, which I would think would probably be as outlandish as whatever Stephen A. or Nick Wright or Kendrick Perkins, these guys that are known to Joe Soro to say on a regular basis that gets people upset one way or the other?
It's not any different than Kareem being vocal in a certain way. Kareem never got a real coaching opportunity because it wasn't because of his stance on social things. He was an asshole, like Rick Barry is, like I am. And the only difference is I knew my capabilities, that I wouldn't be able to work in certain areas, whereas Rick and Kareem still resented the industry for the things that they didn't convey well enough. And Rick Barry, I don't know. I'm not familiar with the details of what he did behind the scenes. I know Kareem. I just never really
He would be trending. He would be trending on a weekly basis. Him and Bill Walton would be trending on a weekly basis. I can just assure you.
And I don't compare Rick Barry with Bill Walton. Bill Walton was
their styles of commentary. Again, Rick Barry says things that probably people would take the wrong way or a little bit harsher. Bill Walton said things in much more descriptive fashion, but people Bill Walton was much beloved.
He was he had soliloquies in his delivery. It was very
I thoroughly enjoyed Bill Walton.
And he was like that because he was a massive stutterer. Stutterer. I just stuttered while I was talking about stuttering. Stutterer. So when he went into his speech, when he would open a playoff game and he's doing the color on it, he would go into a Bob Costas-like soliloquy, and it was very interesting. I actually enjoyed them. And
as did I.
And I think one of my favorite ones was, I believe it was Game 4, before Game 4 of the 2002 NBA Finals. He said, and it was great coming from him because he was always about equality, and he was a hippie, and that kind of thing, right? His whole life. And he said something and I was surprised at the time when he said it. He goes, "We know all men are created equal, and then there's Shaq and Kobe." And I was just like, and it was true, man. I mean, watching the NBA Finals in 2002 was like vacationing. There was not even a hint of a nerve detected for 4 games. Even when they were down 7 in the fourth quarter of Game 3, Jim Rome had a hilarious bit This is when I was living in San Diego and Jim Rome was on the radio. It was hilarious. He did a whole 3 hours about how as soon as like the Lakers hit that 8-minute mark in the fourth quarter, I'm just gonna paraphrase it real quick. He just kept shitting on New Jersey. He's like, yeah, Robert Horry was like sitting there on the corner and he was like chewing on hay and whatever. And oh, you know what, guys, let's win this game. Like that was the whole 3 hours. It was hilarious. Probably his best show ever. But Bill Walton, Rick Barry, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, when you talk about those three, you can honestly say that all three of them had interesting dialogue of their time, but completely different fruits. One was an apple, the other was an orange, the other was a pomegranate. And I would just Rick Barry, I would say, out of the three, which is no one's going to believe it. They always kind of lean to Kareem, but actually Rick Barry pissed people off more than Bill Walton and Kareem combined, because I think he told people who they were and it bothered them. Whereas maybe Kareem was a little bit more passive, maybe a little bit more passive aggressive, right? And then Bill Walton was, maybe he could read a room a little bit better. He would discuss things, he would be forthright, but I think he didn't want to insult people. I think that's kind of thing. Rick doesn't give two shits about insulting people. He does whatever he does. He just, and that's cool. I like Rick. I think it's I think it's part of the charm. But it did cost him a lot of money and a lot of coaching opportunities, because I think he would have been a good coach. Don't ask me how I know this shit, and I wasn't even born when this shit was going on. I don't know. I've watched so much shit in my 35 plus years of being in sports. And again, I pay attention, man. It's so sad that Sports Center in the 90s isn't still here. I can't explain how amazing the programming was in the 90s for ESPN. They had documentaries, they had team yearbooks. These things were epic programs. And then you had the best sportscasters that ever existed in the 90s. The Stu Scotts, the Dan Patricks, the Keith Olbermann before he went, belly up, and Linda Cohn and Hannah Storms. And I mean, there was so much talent at that time, not just in that too. It was just in terms of producing stuff that gave you all the information. NBA at that time didn't have an NBA TV, but they had some of the best NBA programming on NBC, inside stuff with Ahmad Rashad. Like, that's how you learn all this stuff. That's how you get an understanding of it. And then when the internet started getting big, then you started reading articles and figuring things out here and there from the stuff that you heard from those programs growing up. And then you put it all together. And then, of course, if you have a memory for it, then it makes it even better. But Rick Barry, I didn't think I was going to talk about Rick Barry tonight. Rick Barry is always going to Rick Barry. He'll Rick Barry when he dies. He'll still Rick Barry. I think his tombstone will be insulting. Watch. I guarantee it. God, I hope he's okay for the next 50 years, right? But I guarantee he's going to say something funny on
oh yeah, on the way out. Yeah, you know he's going to say something funny on the way out. That's definitely indeed. But congrats to the 50-year anniversary of the greatest miracle in NBA history, according to Rick Barry.
I still don't know what the miracle is. What was the miracle?
I don't get the miracle part.
I've never heard. I just gave you guys a history lesson on all this shit, and I don't even know what the hell he's talking about.
It's Rick Barry.
Was it the Bulls series coming back from 3-2?
Well, whatever helped him sleep at night.
It's just Rick Barry. That's the best. You gotta love Rick Barry. He's just gonna say again. I really, when I look back on what he said this past weekend, I really am sad for the fact that he didn't stay in major media over the course of the past 10 years or so after he left SiriusXM. I really would have loved for him to stay in media just to hear his comments just light up the internet. That would have just been.
It just sucks because Al Adels was the coach. He died last year. Like he was just a year away. I don't know if he was sick for a long time and maybe he was incapacitated. I don't know. I don't remember how he passed, but it's like, man, you know, that's part of it too. Like Rick, can you give it a little bit of a can you ease a little? It's 50 years, man. Come on.
Greatest comeback ever. Legend. So.
I'm gonna have to, after we get off the air, I'm gonna have to go find out what the hell he's talking about. I'm sorry. That's gonna gnaw my neck all night.
I'm about to hop on my internet and take a look to see.
But we got a great week ahead. The Lakers start a 4-game home series after winning tonight, 108-106. Tomorrow looks like I have scheduled a NBA conversations with Caleb Ponce once again, and hopefully I'll have one with Legend here later this week. What?
Nick's been saying some things this last 5 minutes. I'm like, what? I can't believe. I can't believe we're living in a rented life, and he's got
Milwaukee can hire. Milwaukee can play all the Antetokounmpos. They can sign all the Antetokounmpos if they want. So, yeah, that's because they've got 4. So,
hey, Rick Barry, since Tuff said something that kind of triggered it, he goes, Barry don't care at all. It reminded me of that video of the honey badger. Remember that guy that was narrating the honey badger don't give a shit. Barry is a honey badger. Rick Barry is the honey badger of the NBA. Boom.
There you go, indeed. But once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. Don't forget Joe Soro Experiment.
Yeah, don't forget Joe Soro.
Joe Soro. But I usually see the experiment. People say see the experiment there, and there you go. But like and subscribe to his channel. He had one of his biggest shows yet over the weekend with me hopping on there. And then also as well, don't forget playback.tv/Joe Soro Experiment, playback.tv/The Lakers Fast Break. And I got next sports media with Legend. Like and subscribe that. He's got some stuff coming. I've got some stuff coming too to make sure you like and subscribe. So make sure you do that. If you can help us out by liking and subscribing and watching all the stuff we can, that'll help us out. But once again, the Lakers win 2nd place in the Western Conference. Can they stick to it on this homestand? We'll find out, and we'll let you know how it goes right here, as always, on the Lakers Fast Break podcast.
What?
I could see just Joe Googling,
Oh, I'm gonna go find out right now, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna look this up now.
Come on.